There's 5 reasons China just killed Amazon FBA. And we're going to talk about all 5 of those reasons and what you can do to still have success selling on Amazon right now. And we're actually in James's warehouse, and he is an 8-figure Amazon seller, my personal friend and mentor. Plus, he just launched a really cool YouTube channel. But let's get into the first reason why China is killing Amazon.
So to give you guys a really good understanding of how much dominance China does have over the Amazon marketplace, here's a little trick. As of September 2020, you can click on any seller name, go to their business profile, and all of their business address and information is now public. Some categories, upwards of 70% Chinese sellers.
And one of the things that you told me that a lot of Chinese sellers are doing to save money is basically like skirting around the import duties. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, so let's just say you are importing your goods from China. Whatever the invoice price you pay, you have to report that and you have to pay a duty on top of that. Now that duty is quite expensive now in a lot of categories because of the trade war and Trump tacking on an additional 25%. So some of the products that I import, I pay upwards of 34% total duties on the invoice price. However, because China is the manufacturer of these products, if I'm paying $10 a unit, they're going to report maybe $2 or $3 or whatever it is, and they can arbitrarily come up with this number because they're the manufacturer. They could just put their raw materials, or they can just straight up lie.
So let's put some context to this. So you might order a product that costs you $10. You're having to pay $2.50 per unit of duties, where China can say, hey, this product only cost us $1 to make, and so they're paying 25%. So basically they're paying 1/10 of the duties for the same exact product, saving them a ton of money, right?
Exactly. And because of that, they have a significant margin advantage for them to spend on additional human resources or in their PPC budgets.
And another thing you were telling me is they don't pay taxes like American businesses would. So not only are they saving money on the duty, but they're saving money in taxes. Want to talk about?
Yeah, so when it comes down to paying their state and federal tax obligations, I mean, China is known for opening and closing companies all the time in order to create multiple Amazon accounts. So when you get a disbursement from Amazon, that money gets wired over to a Chinese bank account immediately. So they can basically just avoid paying taxes. And if the government wants to come after them, it's impossible for them to get a hold of anybody. All that money is wired over to China already, and that's it.
So to put some numbers on this, let's say I have a business that did $100,000 profit. That's great, but that money doesn't all go in my pocket. I have to pay Uncle Sam, $40,000, and I might have to pay the state of California another $10,000 of that. So I'm left with net profit of only $50,000. Where these Chinese sellers, not only are they not paying the duties taxes, but they're also saving money on state and federal taxes.
That's right.
Getting way bigger margins. And that kind of leads into number 2 is they're just too cheap. The products that they sell, it's almost, they're able, because of all these extra margins, to sell the products for too cheap. So
China has created an environment where we have really unrealistic market values for products. I mean, this is unprecedented when we're in an environment where manufacturers overseas are selling directly to consumers, completely cutting out the middleman. We don't have importers or distributors wholesaling to retailers anymore. It's direct manufacturer to retail. So the prices that we're used to seeing should actually be a lot more expensive than that. And that makes it really difficult for any US competitor or seller to come in the market at a fair value.
And this is one of the reasons I don't recommend just doing private label. I don't recommend finding products in China and wholesaling them, because if you're trying to compete with the same prices, good luck. But we will talk later in this video what you can do to still have success on Amazon. But that leads us into number 3. And so what's the third reason why China is killing Amazon?
So the third reason why China is killing Amazon is because their cost of labor is so cheap. They've got access to so many resources. If we're able to only hire one person to manage our account and our pay-per-click advertising, they can hire 5 people to do that. Right. Not only that, they're extremely savvy on how to game Amazon right now.
And all of this still leads into them being able to sell products for cheaper than we possibly can. There's so much more regulation if you want to start a business in the United States. There's so many taxes, so much more, all this kind of stuff. And again, don't worry, there is a solution we're going to be getting to very soon. But another advantage that China has over American Amazon sellers is speed to market. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So another advantage that China has is their speed to market. So take, for instance, if you're already importing products from China and you'd like to make an improvement on it, you know it's a really long process, upwards of 2 to 3 months just to make an iteration change for your product. Whereas China can just make this change on demand. They probably have teams of people already iterating and planning for that future. They've got deep pockets, a ton of cash flow, and their manufacturing capability is really difficult to compete with.
And here's the thing, private labeling things from China used to work because China wasn't as savvy. They didn't realize how big of an opportunity Amazon was. That is not the way to have success on Amazon anymore. China has killed that, but there still is a lot of opportunity. What can we do, in your opinion, and I'll share my opinion as well, to solve this issue? What can we do to still have success on Amazon?
Yeah, so this is an opportunity to really focus on your brand and your value proposition. China doesn't have that understanding of our culture in America. So oftentimes when they try to create packaging or branding, it just looks really ridiculous. And a lot of times people don't trust that they're going to get the right service or the quality from the company selling the product to them. So it's an opportunity to focus on your value added and your branding.
And I used to sell, for instance, dance clothing. That was the first business I started. And look, our dance clothing was better than the competition, but on China's website, it looked pretty plain. And it's a pretty plain product, but you contrast that with the current product that I'm selling. It's a nut butter product. It's built from the ground up to be a premium product. And to create a premium product, you really need to understand the culture. And there's something unique about it, something different. I found a trend that I knew about because I was an American. I understood the culture. And that's something that China doesn't do as well. They can find products that are already selling really well and they're able to copy them. So if you're trying to just find products that are already selling really well, private label them and copy them, good luck.
Yeah, their primary strategy is to compete on price. It's a margin pressure game with China. So another tip for you guys is to take advantage of an opportunity to source your products domestically. I know you make your products in the US.
Yeah, and that's a good example. I mean, food products can pretty much only be made in the US. Not a lot of people are trusting China to do that. And I know there's more advantages to making your product in the US. Like I know you talk about a bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to work with your factory directly to iterate on new products and changes. You're also not going to be paying those import duties, so you can save a little bit of money there. Your goods might not be as cheap, but it's a lot easier to work with domestic companies.
And people do like buying products that are made in America, but here's the truth. But if you can buy it from China for a tenth of the price, the average consumer will do that. But if you can find a product that is kind of unique, that's also made in America, people are gonna support a product like that. And I wanna make two things clear. When I say that China has killed Amazon FBA, what I mean is China is killing / has killed private label and wholesale on Amazon. And most people right now on Amazon, when they think of Amazon FBA and they think of this opportunity, they think of private labeling some junk product from Alibaba and selling it on Amazon. And I want to be completely clear, China has made it so that's not a good business model anymore. And that's not to say that China has really killed all of Amazon FBA. Amazon is a $1.6 trillion company. They make up 50% of all e-commerce sales. They have 112 million Prime customers. They did $400 billion in sales last year. China has not killed all of Amazon FBA, but they've killed what most people think of Amazon FBA as being. And so there's still a way to make a lot of money off of Amazon FBA, even though China has pretty much killed off private label and wholesale. And I'll be talking about that in depth in just a minute. But the other thing I want to make very clear is you can still use China to manufacture your products. You don't have to exclusively manufacture your products in the United States. You can use China or other manufacturers as long as you make it very difficult or impossible for a Chinese manufacturer to just rip off, copy your product and sell it on Amazon. So how do you do that? Well, there's 3 different tips I have that I think are the most powerful tips. But first, a lot of people want to take the legal approach, and NDAs in China don't really hold much weight. You can look into what's called an NNN, which I don't have a ton of experience with, but that's basically the NDA equivalent. And if you get a Chinese manufacturer to sign it, then they are less likely to copy your products. Now, the other thing that you can look at doing is trademarking your product, your logo. Again, then they can copy your product, but they'd have to change the trademark, so that doesn't completely stop it. Now, one really powerful thing that you could do is get a patent for your product, but not every product is able to get a patent. And here's the truth. Even if you have a Chinese manufacturer sign an NNN or an NDA or anything like that, if they were to copy your product, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go over to China and are you gonna go sue them? Probably not. And they know that. So that's not really what's going to stop them from being able to copy your product. So how do you guarantee that China's not just going to rip you off and not just going to copy your product and undercut you? Well, here's the 3 different tips that I have for you. The first tip I have for you that's going to guarantee that China's not going to just straight up copy your product and sell it on Amazon for cheaper than you is to create a product that's better than the competition. Create something unique that's different, and don't just go to Alibaba and take a generic product, slap your brand on it, and put it on Amazon. If you do that, you're pretty much asking for that manufacturer to sell it on Amazon for cheaper than you, to undercut you. So how do you do this? Well, this is what I did with my product, and this is what I mostly talk about on this channel. My product, there was other nut butter products out there on the market, but what I decided to do was create a unique blend that was specifically targeted at athletic people, at the keto community. Now, you can do this in a number of different ways. What I recommend doing is looking on Amazon, looking for products that are already being sold, looking at the reviews, looking at the 1-star reviews and seeing what people don't like about that product, and trying to make a better version of that product. So don't just take a water bottle, slap your brand on it, and sell it on Amazon. Instead, see what are the complaints about this water bottle and make something that's really amazing and really different. Those are the products that are gonna succeed in the future on Amazon, not just the boring, basic private label products. Now, the second thing that you should do that's going to guarantee that China's not going to be able to copy your product is to create a strong brand on your product. Now, let me give an example of this. There's a game that I play here, sometimes on the beach, and it's called Spikeball. And first off, it ticks the first box. It was a unique product. There was nothing else like that. The inventors of this game, there was no other product like this, so they were the first ones to create something like this. But the second thing that they did that was really smart is they created a brand around it, Spikeball. Now, can a Chinese manufacturer rip them off, copy their product, and sell basically the exact same thing? I mean, all it is some plastic and some string with a little inflatable ball. Yes, they can. But let me tell you, when I go to Amazon, I have the choice between spending $70 on Spikeball, which has some brand recognition, it's the original in the category, or I could save 30 bucks, spend around $40 on a knockoff Chinese version of Spikeball, Smashball, or whatever they're gonna call it. Which one do I personally choose? Well, let me tell you. I don't want to be the guy out on the beach that has the Smashball, that has the knockoff version. And I don't want to be the guy that basically everyone's like, oh, you're so cheap that you weren't willing to pay for the real deal. That's part of it. Let's be honest. A lot of times brands, it's because you don't want to be seen as someone cheap and whatever. But the other part of it that's actually real is Spikeball has a reputation to keep. They're gonna have higher quality materials. They're gonna have better quality things, where this other brand, they're gonna cut corners a little bit. They're gonna try to save some money on some costs. That product's more likely to break down. Now, as humans, we're willing to spend more money for products that have a high quality brand. Really, when we're buying things, sometimes we're buying it for the utility of the thing itself, but oftentimes we're buying it for the way that it makes us feel. Why are people willing to pay way more money, 2, 3, 4, 5 times more money for a Nike shirt than they are for a generic plain shirt? They both serve the same function, but as humans, we want to feel good when we buy something, when we wear it, when we use it, all those kind of things. It's also a little bit of a status thing. And a lot of people, when they go on Amazon, they want to buy the most expensive product because they know that it's probably likely to be the best product, which is why I always recommend selling a premium product. Sell the best product, which is going to allow you to sell your product for a higher price point, which is going to give you more margin. Basically, you're going to make more profit per unit, which means that you can spend more money on Amazon PPC and more money on marketing. And ultimately, it's going to make it so you make a lot more money, a lot easier than your competition. Now, the third tip I have for you that's going to make it almost impossible for China to copy your product is to make it hard for China to copy your product. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's take this example of cocktail cards. Now, this is a product that I'm working with. There's a student in my Amazon FBA program. We had this idea together, and basically I partnered with him and said, let's create this product. So it's a set of 100 flashcards teaching you how to make cocktails. Now, is this a product that China could easily copy? Yes and no. It's very easy for them to make the materials, but the design, the information, the branding, they don't have that as a specialty. What China specializes in is copying products, not creating brands, not creating really cool designs. That's not their specialty. Now, you could still say, well, couldn't they still copy the cards and do all this kind of stuff? Now, one thing that AJ did that was brilliant is he put a QR code on every single card that links to a video when you scan it, showing you how to make the drink. It's an entire video. Now, this is something that would be very hard for China to copy. Because for them to copy that, they would basically have to hire someone to do videos for every single car. That's too much work for them. There's other products out there that they can much more easily copy. And another important thing to note about this is if you make a unique product, you create a brand, China's only going to copy your product once you're making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And if you create something that's unique and different than the competition, you're going to have what's called a first mover advantage. The reason that I bought Spike Ball instead of the knockoff Smash Ball is because that Spike Ball came out years before the Smash Ball knockoff came out. They were able to establish themselves in the market as like the must-have item for playing Spike Ball on the beach. But the most important lesson I have for you is before you start selling on Amazon, learn from other people's mistakes that have been selling on Amazon. And James and I have been selling on Amazon for over a decade combined. We've made a lot of money, we've lost a lot of money, we've learned a lot of lessons, and in this video we talk about all our failed products. So click on that video, learn about the products that we launched, why they failed, so you can avoid making the same mistakes as us. So click on that video and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.